Hello everyone, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2 and Sunken Bay, this pirate-themed area in my custom theme park called the Grand Nexus. Today we are going a little out of order in terms of what I've posted so far. We're going to be building the pirate town of Sunken Bay in this episode. This is going to be kind of an interesting build for me, or maybe I should say it was an interesting build for me when I was going through this process, because I went a bit out of my comfort zone with this one. Typically to this point I've been building mostly with the grid pieces and stacking sort of generically, for lack of a better term. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously. You can build some really cool things with that method. I just really wanted to get the piratey vibe going with this town in these buildings, so that, you know, as you're seeing here, kind of includes not perfectly straight or aligned sections of the buildings and whatnot. More angled pieces, because the whole idea with this town is that, you know, it was built in haste by this pirate community after they theoretically, you know, crash landed on this deserted island, needed shelter, so they just kind of, again, like I said, hastily put together this town, and presumably are not the greatest engineers, they just needed shelter. So that's kind of the vibe I was going for, and I felt like I couldn't really get that vibe with just the grid pieces. I kind of wanted to step out of the comfort zone and think outside of the grid for this one. And yeah, like I briefly mentioned, this is for sure out of order in terms of the episode I released last week. If you haven't seen that, you should go check it out. I posted a time lapse of a pirate themed restaurant for this area. It came out pretty cool, so yeah, go check it out if you haven't seen it. The entire time I've been planning out this area, I knew I wanted to put a restaurant in this region, particularly, you know, in the spot just behind where this pirate town you're seeing now is going. And then I finally just had a bit of inspiration of how to go about it and kind of how to model it, and the end goal there. So I just went ahead and didn't want to lose momentum, so I went through the whole build, edited the footage all in one go, so I can get ready to post. I was pretty proud of it. I was excited about it. It was one of those builds that just kind of quickly, everything was coming together as I was going, and the ideas kept coming. So yeah, I didn't want to lose momentum, I just went with it. Now we are back with the intended order of this area, with the pirate town and the aforementioned tilted buildings. And just to note, all of these builds I've shared so far, including the one last week, obviously, because it was before the update, which I'm getting to. All these builds that I've shared so far, and honestly probably the next two builds in this area will be before the latest update, which came out yesterday as of now. Today's July 1st, so it came out yesterday. So yeah, it's all before the updates in the pirate pieces, so I'm building all this without the pirate intended pieces in the game, so keep that in mind. Which I thought I mentioned in another video. I think that's kind of a fun process, is trying to take items that not necessarily are meant for a specific theme and kind of combining them in a way to make it the theme that you're looking for and that you're going for. So I enjoy that, but I'm definitely excited to jump in. Been chomping at the bit to jump into the update. I haven't even had a chance to dive in yet and check it out, with all the cool changes they made and obviously all those pieces that they've entered into the game too. So I'm excited to do that, just haven't had a chance, you know, with like vacation with the family and lots of stuff going on. So anyways, I'll step aside here, I'll let you guys check out the build, and I will jump in here and there throughout the video to provide my insight, my input of what's going on. Please remember, if you do like this, to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I've seen a slight bump in traffic lately, and it definitely makes me want to do this more when I'm seeing that traction. I'm sure for a lot of YouTubers, the traction I'm seeing is kind of a blip on the radar, but for me it's cool to see some momentum. So yeah, please, if you do like this, to please leave a comment, a like, any feedback. Even if you don't like it, leave some feedback. I'd love to know what I could do better. And yeah, I will talk to you in a few minutes when I think it's a viable place to jump in. Here's a cool technique that if you're new to the game, it could be a good way to kind of like bring a bit more dimension and depth to your builds, is using some of these like more 3D pieces, incorporating them into those grid pieces, those flat walls, to create again a bit more depth, more texture to the buildings. It just makes it pop a bit more and makes it seem more natural in part of the environment. So that's what I'm doing here. And then the decals, which again you're seeing here, it just adds a whole new layer of realism to some of these builds, especially if you're going for what I'm going for here, the kind of like weathered building style typically find in a theoretical pirate village community town on a deserted island. So yeah, just using some of those pieces and just kind of like exploring the entire library of set pieces that you have at your disposal and seeing how you can kind of mix and match and create that depth there. Just a quick tip that I find helps with my builds to make it a bit more, like I said, realistic, natural. Another tip that I have for new players in this game, if you're just jumping in with the new updates, A good way to kind of like create more uniqueness with your like clustered buildings, your towns, your main streets, that sort of thing. If you want the buildings to be the same style, what I like to do and what I've found to be helpful and more efficient in the process to build those areas up is to create one larger building that you're happy with, and then kind of deconstruct it into different sections, and then you can combine those different sections into it'll still feel like the same sort of building, but it's not all exactly copy paste the same building over and over again. You have a little bit of dimension there, a little bit of diversity in terms of the structures that you're incorporating into your scenes. So that's what I'm doing here. I end up creating, I think, like 3 or 4 different variations of this one building that I built. Obviously the first go took a lot of time. It took a few, probably a couple hours to mess around and play with different options and arrangements of the sections of the building. But then once I get that down, I can kind of skip through the rest of the process for the other ones. I kind of already have the idea that I'm going for built out. I can just pick and choose what parts of the buildings I want to incorporate into another building in this town, and then sort of rearrange and scale and add a bit more pieces here and there. Like for this one, for example, I added a little tunnel so that I can use for the guest path to go through and enter a different section of this town. So yeah, just another helpful tip if you're looking to create more of a diverse feel for your towns, your main plaza, your shopping areas, that sort of thing. That's a good way to go about it. One thing I've continued to struggle with in this game, and since day one I've had the hardest time trying to figure out, I'm getting a little bit better now, but it's custom roofs. Like with the roof pieces that we have, it's so hard to get, like if you want to create a more like off script type of building, it's hard to get the roofs I'm from New England, I'm not sure why I'm talking like I'm from the Midwest. It's harder to fit those roofs onto those buildings that you're kind of going off script with. So what I find is finding those freeform pieces that could be made to look like a roof. Like this is I forget the name of it. It's like Viking wall piece or something like that. It's in the Viking set, but obviously it looks like it's shingles when you kind of angle it at the roof, and you have free reign of the angle that you want to use, the pitch that you want to use for that. So it's definitely more malleable to different building styles. So yeah, I'd recommend going through the set pieces and see what you got there to use and what could help you make a more interesting looking building rather than just the generic roofs that they give you. Again, nothing wrong with that, just in case you're looking for a bit more variety in your builds. Again, nothing wrong with that, just in case you're looking for a bit more variety in your builds. Harping back on the point of like combining the buildings that you've already built into another structure that is different but definitely looks like it belongs together. This one I was really happy with. It's a larger building. You got the tunnel aspect on one side, the other side has the shop front, perfect for like a street corner type deal. So yeah, just trying things out, seeing where it goes. The worst thing that happens is you delete it and, you know, try again. So this build came out before the pirate update for sure, but even before I started this area before the update. I think it was update 5 came out too, where the invisible paths, the ability to get rid of curbs on the paths came out. So this effect that I'm going for here, laying down sort of the flat roof pieces, or you know, the flooring pieces as a different sort of path texture, I should say, is a lot easier because you can kind of lay down those pieces that you want to use for the path texture, and then delete the actual path itself. Not delete it, but make it invisible, so you're only really seeing just the custom path that you made. Long way of saying that method is a lot easier now, obviously, that we have the ability to make invisible paths. And here I'm starting out the beginning of the dock area. This definitely takes a bit more of a different form at the end. You'll see in a later episode how it finally comes to be, but the idea is this is a dock area where there will be a couple shops. There'll also be the queue area to a future River Rapids ride that I'm working on wrapping up in real life right now. That kind of plays in with the shipwreck centerpiece there. So yeah, just building out the layout and kind of like an outline of where I want this to be, and then I'll, you know, subsequently go in and create the buildings and orient the buildings in the queue line and whatnot. Actually, I should say that for these specific buildings, I created a whole like pirate shanty set piece, wall pieces, roofs, that sort of thing for these buildings, and then probably won't be getting to the larger shanty building in this episode, but you know, I use those pieces for a larger structure that kind of plays into the scene of the whole dock and jungle feel, which again you'll see in a later episode. Maybe I'll throw up a quick screenshot just so you guys have some idea what I'm talking about, because I feel like I didn't really explain that well. Getting to the end of this episode here, obviously this area isn't completely finished just yet. Still a lot of little things here and there to make it seem more of like a bustling pirate town. Definitely am going to add a lot more detail into this area, into this whole area, but particularly into this pirate town. I imagine once I have a chance to jump into that new pirate theme update and get the pirate pieces and get my hands on that and see what we have there. Hoping the animatronics are cool and can help me, you know, again, make this kind of come to be more of an alive area of the park. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope maybe it gave you some ideas for your own pirate themed area, which I'm sure a lot of people are jumping in and checking that out in the coming days, weeks. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you liked it. Please, if you did, even if you didn't, leave a comment, like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Again, really appreciate any feedback, is helpful. Would love to see some momentum here and give me some motivation to keep going with this series and keep creating videos and stuff. I really enjoy doing it. So yeah, if you liked it, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know. Bye bye.